Hey everybody, Zach Butler YGO, back from the 250th YCS in Los Angeles. Finally feeling well enough to record an updated deck profile, and I wanted to do it on the Dark World strategy. I'll be doing a bunch of these decks in the next few days, but I wanted to start with one that I've been enjoying so much, which has been the Dark World deck. The reason for that being that it, despite a Rise Heart being such a powerful card and the Cashier matchup being so prevalent, you generally can just push through a lot of the plays. Most of the time they're going to go a Rise Heart pass or even the double a Rise Heart pass play, and you can just kind of ignore that and push through and either end the game in one turn with life point damage or lock them and then they can't play. And against most other decks, you can just kind of ignore them as well. It's kind of the same as the old Danger Dark World deck used to be, where you're like you could FTK, or if you went second, you would just OTK them, or like the Danger Thunder deck, where you could set up a giant field turn one and lock them, and then and if you went second, you could just push through with a ton of damage. So I definitely wanted to show that. Go over some of the changes that I made based off of some of the trends that I think are going to be pretty common going forward. And I'll actually have a video on some of the trends that I think might be more common as well. If you guys would like that, let me know down in the comment section below. I'll go in a little bit into detail into some of them, why maybe some of the deck ratios have changed, but I could make a whole video, I think, based off of just the YCS results and go and look at that, and maybe we can figure out where the format's going together, even though it's going to be ending pretty soon, because we don't really have anything going on through the month of April, but we are going to be getting into the Nationals and WCQ season, so I want to keep you guys informed as much as possible. So, like I said, it is Dark World, Danger. So we'll start off with the monsters. First, we have the 3 Rainbow, of course. It searches out the 2 Graphas as well as the 2 Silvas. These are the big Dark Worlds, and everything else is one of the little ones. Pre-YCS and post the last video I played, I actually was playing a build given to me by a friend, changed a couple cards, but one of the things I was testing was 1 Grapha. I found that I kept wanting a second copy just to have another card to search off of Rainbow most of the time, actually. Or is it Rainbow? It is Rainbow. I don't know how to read. Most of the time I found I wanted a second copy of Grapha just to be able to have the utility effect, actually. So I went back up to 2 for that reason. Although cutting it to 1 actually isn't the most unreasonable. I can see siding out 1, things like that. The second copy of Silva kind of feels redundant a lot of the time, and you could even exchange one of these out instead of the second Grapha. I know Aaron Furman did pretty well at the YCS in Los Angeles. He got both a written feature and a stream feature, and you can see how well the deck did there. And that was with just 1 Silva in the main deck, so that's something to consider. For the Little Dark Worlds, we have 3 Genta, of course. This is the craziest one in my opinion because it searches out the field spell and special summons itself back. Legitimately a custom card. 3 Snow to search out everything, and then 1 Ceruli to do the hand loop. So that's it for the Dark Worlds. I am playing 3 Nessie this time. I got a lot of questions in the last one about why I only played 2, and the reason was that the starter count was different because I had more copies of cards like Dark Spirit's Mastery and things like that, so I felt like I had enough starters, but I cut those in lieu of more extenders and other cards, so I actually wanted to increase the danger count just to have more bodies that way. And with that, I also play 3 Mothman. Again, this is just the best level 4. Like the Cherubini is okay. Not Cherubini. That's totally different deck. The Chupacabra is pretty good, but I feel like Mothman just does more, and having a higher attack stat actually does come up a lot. Even though, like they come out to be the same with the field spell. If your hand is worse and you just have to start attacking, you just want to have as many monsters that are as big as possible. So it is the most efficient level 4 danger there is of the 2. Then I played 2 Bigfoot and 1 Thunderbird. Originally this was actually going to be 3 Bigfoot. However, I felt like I wanted to have the single Thunderbird just to have the utility of being able to destroy face down cards. I definitely could see just playing 3 Bigfoot because I dropped a card. Because a Rise Heart is such a problem that you may just want to have a 3rd Bigfoot just so you can see it in as many games as possible, discard it right away, and clear the field, although I have a different solution in the main deck for a Rise Heart that we'll be getting to. Then I played 1 Jackalope, 1 Tsuchinoko, and 1 Chupacabra. These are just the 3 worst dangers in this specific version, because obviously Jackalope and Tsuchinoko are both crazy, but their levels don't really help out with the deck. They're really just there to be extra bodies, and then the 1 Chupacabra is because it just helps get back to the ones, and it's a Fiend, which is very beneficial. I'm not playing Lava Golem in the main deck at all this time. I'm only playing Radian, the multi-dimensional kaiju. The reason for this is that a lot of players were still doing a Rise Heart pass with hand traps this time instead of back row. So Lava Golem did lose a little bit of utility there. And because of that, I wanted just to have spot removal, and this is a Fiend. However, I do still side Lava Golem because one of the things that has come up is a double Rise Heart play being more common, and so you could actually argue that Lava Golem gets better because of that. But I just wanted to have a single Radiant in there just to make sure I have some spot removal. It's really good against Sprite, it's good against every deck of the format effectively, so I just wanted to make sure I had that. And it being a Fiend is always good as well. For the spells, we play 3 Allure, 3 Gates, and one of the bigger changes that has come up is 2 Dark World Dealings. So this kind of it's weird. So this almost acts like a danger. It's like worse than a danger in that it doesn't give you a body, but it's better because it lets you guarantee the discard. I could consider 3 of these. I just don't really know what I would necessarily cut. You could cut back maybe on, like I said, the 3rd Sylph if you wanted for 3rd Dealings. You could even cut the Radiant and other cards and just go all combo. I don't necessarily like that idea. In a deck like this, I want to have some form of defensive card, but it might be worth it if the other decks of the format continue to be so fair that you know what you're going to be going into is breakable. You might as well just go for it, which is actually the logic I used behind saying that the version of Kashtira that I would play would be to go wide game 1, where you just go for the full combo, and then games 2 and 3 you go a Rise Heart pass, but that's a separate video on its own. The last 2 Dark World spells I play are Accession and Archives. Both these cards are insane. Archives is just ridiculous. And then the like honorary Dark World spell, Card Destruction, one of the craziest cards in the game. Probably should be banned, but yeah. And then I was maining 2 Dark Ruler No More. So this is the other way I deal with a Rise Heart. Because you're drawing so many cards, you actually will see one of your 3 defensive slots pretty often, because you have the 3 Allure, the 3 Gates, the 2 Dealings, the Card Destruction, Archives potentially, all the dangers. You're ripping through your deck at just like a breakneck pace that you will see these cards, and because of that you don't need to necessarily play as many non-engine, and because you're not playing as many non-engine, they need to be as impactful as possible. I wanted Dark Ruler because it's good into every single deck that is played right now. If you look across the board, every deck that's played makes a field that is weak to Dark Ruler, and so that gives you the ability to play. And so I think because of that, we're going to see a lot more Dark Ruler No More going forward as kind of the, not necessarily a board breaker, but like a board freeze of choice. For the extra deck, we have 2 Grapha, Dragon Overlord of Dark Worlds. I still like 2 of this because I can, you can always summon the second one, and it prevents a Rise Heart from just ruining your game plan by banishing the 1 altogether. I don't really have much to say. I did consider actually playing 1. I know a few players that I've talked to about the deck have advocated for 1. I played one Exciton Knight and one Dagaris. Both of these are really good. No Baguska. That's because Baguska doesn't really do anything, at least currently. With the landscape of the format, summoning a Baguska and passing doesn't really do anything. You're not going to do it under Shifter. You're probably going to summon, you'd rather just summon the multiple big bodies. And even if you summon Baguska against like Kashtira, they can just access Scareclaw Kashtira and attack it, and then it's worthless anyway. So I just cut it, didn't feel like it was worthwhile. I never found myself summoning it against any matchup at all, and I just don't regret that. Played the Coach King Giant Trainer, of course, and then testing out number 22 Zombie Stein. It just gives you another rank 8 to go into, and it's an Omni Negate instead of a card like number 38 that, of course, you know, requires you to, that requires a spell, so that's something to consider. You could also always play another rank 8, but I felt like number 22 is really good. It's unfortunate that it sends the card, but I wanted to have like as impactful of a rank 8 as possible. Also, it's huge. It's 4,500, so that actually randomly matters where you can just have large bodies. And then onto the links, I play Security Dragon and Akashic Magician for the combo. You know, your hand loop combo. One change that was a recent one is Cross Sheep. This one's really cool because it's got, you know, 4 different effects. If it points to an extra deck type monster and you summon you special summon to a zone it points to, it gets an effect. Generally, you're gonna special summon your Grapha, and then you'll summon Cross Sheep over it, and then you'll summon a monster to this zone, which will trigger Cross Sheep to give you another extender from your grave. So you can bring back like your Snow, or you can bring back Cerulean as the last discard if you haven't Fiend Locked yourself with the Muckracker. So that's just a really cool card. I like it a lot. It just kind of helps continue to push along. And then the Muckracker, of course. Card's crazy. Don't really know what to say. Or is it Muckraker? Let me know in the comment section below if it's Raker or Muckracker. I don't remember. But this card's insane. I swear that card was literally made for Dark World. And then one big change too is, you know, you've got the 2 normal Nightmares, but I'm also playing Unicorn and Griffin. Nightmare Griffin was a incredibly good card over the weekend. I saw every Dark World deck I saw that was playing it. If you could end with Griffin under the Underworld, and then you'd have like Grapha next to it, like this, you're probably gonna win that game. If you can end on this, your opponent's pretty much locked because they can't activate special summon effects unless they're linked, but they don't have any link arrows unless they special summon link and then do that. And you have Grapha to help prevent a lot of their combo plays. And all of these, all of the Nightmares are Fiends, so even once you get Fiend Locked, you still have them as utility options. You have them to link climb and things like that. Really liked that a lot. And then the last card was the one Saryuja, just to, you know, kind of help fix your hands, because sometimes your hands can be a little weak. For the side deck right now, I'm citing 3 Lava Golem and 2 Radiant. This is, again, just for going second into the Kashtira deck. If I think they're going to go wide, I'm going to bring in Lava Golem. Lava Golem's also just really good into the Naturian matchup. It's good into Sprite, just kind of good overall, but you only want it when you're going second and you think they're going to go for it. Obviously, you only bring it in against Kashtira if you think they're going to go wide. Other decks, they have to play into it most of the time, so you can get a lot of value that way. So those cards are very good, and they're also all Fiends, which is beneficial for Gates of Dark Worlds. I'm actually citing 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. So it is specific to Mystical Space Typhoon. You could do Twin Twisters, but I would not do Cosmic Cyclone, and I wouldn't do Anti-Spell necessarily. And the reason why for Cosmic Cyclone is that it banishes. And while that's great, I noticed that Imperial Ironwall has been on the increase. It's really good against this deck because you can't use your Gates of Dark World and they can also Lancia, which is really problematic. So those two cards being so popular is one reason why, and the reason why I wouldn't do Lightning Storm is because of Anti-Spell Fragrance. I want my cards to be useful right away. I want to use these as quick as possible. And there's really no back row that I'm scared of having in the graveyard necessarily. Like the Labyrinth ones, sure, but I don't really care enough that like the gain of banishing a card is so marginal that I'll take a slightly less powerful card to have it be useful across the board more often. Then the third Dark Ruler, just for, you know, going wide again, you know, you can just use this instead. And then one Call by the Grave. This goes in when you go first to try to stop them from having Droll and Lockbird, and it's just good going first card in general in this deck because you're going to see so much of it anyway. And then I'm citing 3 Skill Drains. I feel like that's pretty normal. And 2 Eradicator. The reason for the Eradicator is that I feel like the only things that really beat you most of the time when you go first are board breaks. And if you can just Eradicator call spells, you're going to win. Or if you play against a trap deck and you Eradicator call traps, they can't evenly you, they can't do anything like that. I really like this card in this deck a lot, so that's why that's there. Another card I want to consider, but I don't necessarily know what I want to cut quite yet, because I haven't tested this out too heavily. This is still very early on, is Deck Devastation Virus. With the increase in Sprite doing so well as the increase in decks like Naturia, Deck Devastation Virus gets a lot better, and you can very easily meet the requirements for it in this deck. You could even just play 1 and 1. Like, this could just be a Deck Devastation Virus, and then just play 1 Eradicator, because you're going to see so much of your deck anyway. And if you discard them off of a danger or something, you can always reset it with Griffin, which is pretty cool. I like that a lot, actually, about Griffin. It makes it so that way if you hit a card you don't necessarily want to hit, you can just reset it anyway. So that was kind of the thought process there. But if I had to pick one, it was going to be Eradicator. But you could definitely go 1 and 1 and just hedge your bets. So you're probably going to draw enough of your deck that you'll be able to get to both pretty reliably. So that's the deck. It's pretty much... I mean, it's very similar to the one I was playing before, but I just wanted to show some of the updated thought processes because I know you guys liked that video a lot. Thank everyone for the support, by the way. We were almost at 1,000 subscribers at the time of recording this video, so we are going to have that 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Be on the watch out for that video as well. I'll be doing that right after I record this one, and it'll probably go up first because it's going to be shorter. It's just my way of giving back to all of you for helping the channel, for helping me, giving me another outlet for any sort of discussion and passion projects I have. I know a lot of the decks are very repetitive, and that might not be everybody's cup of tea. The reason for that is that I just simply want to do all of the decks that I'm playing and the things that I find interesting at that time. So I really appreciate all the support, and if you like this sort of content, let me know with a comment, a like, and a subscribe. Hit that notification bell, that'd be great, it helps me out. And if you want to purchase any of the cards that you find in this video, maybe from the Gates of the Dark World structure deck, I think that's what it's called, or the whatever the new structure deck Dark World one, it might just be structure deck Dark, I think it's structure deck Dark World, the most recent one. You can purchase that, or you can purchase the singles maybe that aren't in there, like the Danger Nessie, for example, with the Hideous Gold Rare. I love these ones. Use my TCG Player affiliate link found in the description below. A portion of that does go to the channel, so you're helping me while you're helping yourselves out and making your deck better, and you're helping make the quality of the content better as well. Until next time, though, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much.